Hello, what you're about to watch is a video from back in 2021 when I went to high school. It's before the big AI boom, where I tried to understand the concept of machine learning. Holy fucking prediction, bro. I was the early adopter of AI. No, but I'm posting this in case you're treating AI now like some big mystical black box that you can't understand. Hopefully with my simplistic explanations back in that time, it could give you some sort of foundational grasp of what governs AI. Don't expect too much from this video. As I said, I was in high school at that time, so sorry for the production quality, but still, I am genuinely most proud of that video more than anything I've done recently, even though the quality has improved. But still, I hope my 15-year-old yappings can help you understand AI.
Machine learning. Machine learning. What is machine learning? Is this machine learning? If machines so smart, why machines so stupid? In this video, I shall attempt to explain how machine learning works. Is machine learning as simple as
why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not, you stupid bastard?
But before we talk about how to learn machines something, how do humans learn? What number is this? A 1. That's correct. What number is this? A 1. Obviously. What number is this? A 1? No, that's a 2. But how do you know that 1 is a 1 and 2 is a 2? Well, I like to think about it as the pattern of 1. What makes 1 a 1? You have recognized that 1s can be written differently, but they all mean the same thing. This principle can also be applied to machines. We'll return to the machine learning in a bit. In normal programming, we use command plus algorithm equals answer. If Johnny is in your Unity, without any of the code, he won't be able to move. So, you add the algorithm or the code, all the rigid bodies, get keys, all that good stuff, and then you add the command. For example, you press D to move him, and he moves. Isn't that lovely? So in this example, we have command plus algorithm answer, or you could say input, aka you pressing D, plus the code equals the answer or the feedback. You can do the same thing, but opposite. Let me explain. The command plus the answer can sometimes give you the algorithm, kinda. It's more like the variables than the algorithm, but I present to you I don't know what you expected. This is what a neural network looks like. It's a bunch of lines and circles. I don't know what you think it is. Most of them look like this. They can also look like this. But if you really want to, they could also look like this. But for simplicity's sake, we're gonna use this one as it's the simplest one. Now let's go over some of the terminology. That's an input layer, that's the hidden layer, that's the output layer, that is the link, and every link has a weight that is going to a neuron. As you can maybe notice, this is very much inspired by the human brain and how humans learn. So, I'm gonna try to explain how a machine will learn the difference between a rat and a mouse. They have two distinct features, their weight and their tail length. We take their weight and their tail length as one of the inputs, and we have weight x and tail length x. We take their rat weight times link weight, 300 times 0.2 equals 60, rat tail length times link weight, 17 times 0.3 equals 5.1. We add those together and get 60 divided by 5.1 equals 11.764. Then you take the value and divide it by the bias of the neuron. In this case, I chose 2 for some random reason. You take the value of that and divide in a function. Usually the sigmoid function is used, which limits the value from -1 to +1. But since this isn't a real program, a linear function will also work in this example. And that's the neuron's new function. So, then, after all of the values of every single neuron, after all of this, every single neuron is counted, the computer guesses which input is the correct one. This was a wrong guess. So what we do now is we train it. That's a huge dramatization. How it actually works is the machine uses backpropagation. If you give the machine the question and also the answer, if you give it the input and also what the correct output should be, it's gonna start changing the values of the biases and the weights by using this algorithm. I am in no way, shape or form qualified to explain it, and you don't need to know it unless you're trying to make your own neural network, which I highly advise you don't. But yes, so why even go through all this trouble? Well, neural networks specialize in figuring out non-linear data. So to understand it, let's go over linear data first. Linear data are numbers in sequence basically that when each element is connected to the one next to it, so the one behind it and the one in front of it, making it linear. But non-linear data is that the structure of the elements has no sequential connection. This is a fancy way of saying that each element can have multiple paths connected to other elements, that the information path can take different routes to different elements, instead of following from going up or down in a linear path. Okay, so why would this even be used? Where do you use this? Well, your friends at Google, Facebook, and of course China are specialists in using this. This right here is state-of-the-art recognition software that works on AI and neural networks. They can identify stuff as your gender, your age, what clothes you're wearing, and what car you're driving. Well, this kind of seems like privacy invasion to me. So how would you even use this in a video game? Well, Unity has its own machine learning code. You have to download Python for it, and it's called ML agents. How it works is basically it spawns in special agents which already have most of the algorithm done, so you just have to tweak it a bit. If you want to try machine learning, this is a great entry point. Well, thank you for your attention and thank you for listening.
Now, I don't know how this video will do, but if you're curious and you want like a more modern maybe a better explanation of how AI works, just a better quality video about it, I am very down to make it for you, assuming people are interested. But yeah, I hope even with that borderline nonsensical video, it gave you some kind of slight insight into AI. And again, if you want a video, comment. Let me know you want it. This channel is dying. Please, I beg you. I'm kidding. I'm not. I'll see you later.